everybody, SonGoshuaku here, ready to review episode 16, titled Degesu. So, here we go. Finally, the final battle is beginning, and you can see it, like I said, it looks hellish. It looks like a place where you want that final battle. Everything destroyed from the Zandamari guys that took forever. I don't know why it took like 18 minutes or so just to beat these jabronis up. But yeah, there you see our heroes are right there, basically going through what should they do next for their plan. As you can see, Vegeta's like, should we go ahead and save Dende? Which, I gotta be honest, through this whole episode, as Dragon Ball DAIMA nearly comes to an end, it feels like Dende has just absolutely not been a priority. They've been going to hotels, lounging, like, yeah, you all's friends is in the enemy's hands, and they're wondering, do they fight the Tamagami first and everything? Of course, they don't know yet what's happened, and Piccolo, he makes the most sense here. He says, Dende comes first, and he got Hibis there with that goofy hat that he got. And there you have Nahare, a.k.a. the Supreme Kai, a.k.a. the East Kaioshin. He's like, yeah, that's right. We need to go ahead and rescue Dende. You think? And so there we go. We have the look at Gomah's palace, and we see some boots walking nearby, and it is revealed to be Degesu. Love the animation, the backgrounds, just tremendous work as always from the animation staff at Toei for Dragon Ball DAIMA. And there you go, you have Dende, who is fast asleep, and he starts crying as soon as Degesu picks him up, and he is crying out loud, and Degesu is getting annoyed by all of this. Like I said, I really wonder what's going through the thoughts of Dende, because as we saw going back to the second episode, Goten and Trunks were reduced back to kids, but because they still had their mature mindsets, we the audience were able to hear their inner thoughts, and they didn't understand why their bodies was reacting like they were babies. So I really wish this would be something that they would have played around with Dende, as it would have been interesting to hear his thoughts, but maybe they didn't want to go that way because he's probably scared out of his mind and wondering where his friends are taking so long. And so the gates are closing here as they get closer to the tower, and out comes the special 5 forces, and their guys, them all looking like, what the heck is this, right? It's the Zandamari top 5 special forces as they go into the ground, and Vegeta and Goku, they are like, you gotta be kidding me on this one. Even nahare, even Neva looks like, what the heck are these guys on? And King Caden looks perplexed. This guy looks like he's ready to square up though. The guy here with the big pink lips and the green skin, he's like, he ready to go. I guess when you come to the third demon world, he's prepared. They are warriors after all. Bulma, aka Bulma, and Panzy also shock. And so there you go, we got Kadim, we've got Danami, we got Helia, Mashini, and Gaimo. I probably mispronounced all that and butchered it, but yeah, basically aka the Ginyu Force. These guys are tribute to the Ginyu Force, especially with that background. So once again, another nod to those who are big Dragon Ball Z fans, which I know there are a lot of. And this guy just starts chucking down a whole bunch of potato chips, like, and so I guess he's getting his, we have pre-workout, we have pre-meal workouts, and I guess this right here, or pre-workout drinks and stuff like that, this guy's pre-battle workout, and so basically they're thinking that what they're up against is a lot of brats, and they're very, very confident, and Vegeta's like, who are these guys? And he basically goes like, you've never heard of us? And then he's like, listen closely before you die, and Vegeta quickly shuts him off. He's like, I am, and Vegeta shuts him off. He's like, save it. This reminds me, and if you're a WWE fan, you'll remember there's a classic line where WWE Hall of Famer legend Bubba Ray Dudley, at the time he was first introduced into WWE, he was doing this stuttering gimmick, and he would be like, my name is it's the Dudley Boys, Bubba Ray Dudley and Devon Dudley. And then so The Rock was like, they're facing The Rock, and The Rock was like, who are you two Rudy Poos? And Bubba Ray Dudley goes like, I told you my name was and The Rock steals the microphone. He's like, it doesn't matter, and boom, just punches him right in the face, and the match begins. That's exactly what this reminded me of, because Vegeta is basically like, who are these guys? And the guy's, well, I'm, and he's like, save it. Oh my gosh, man. Hilarious. And then so from there, the Dande guy, he's like, what? He's insulted, and Vegeta is like not having any of it. Piccolo's like, this is gonna be a waste of time, and Goku's like, because, you know, he just thinks this is all hilarious. And basically Piccolo's like, hey, Vegeta, do what you will. And so Goku and Piccolo, they go ahead, and Vegeta's gonna take on the 5 Dande guys. And so they're like, oh, wow, you want a piece of us? And I gotta admit, the towering difference, like, this guy must be the birder of the group in terms of just pure height alone. He's got to be like, just in terms of pure height. And so he's looking, and of course Vegeta's been smaller, you know, but even if Vegeta was regular size, this guy was still tower, as if that's gonna mean anything. And so he's like, Captain, this brat's acting up here. And so the captain's like, take him out. And so he just starts squaring up to Vegeta, like circling and surrounding him like it's supposed to do something. And he turns his back, he gives his back up to Vegeta, and Vegeta still doesn't care. And then we get this devious look from him, and then he shoots his ki blast here right to Vegeta. Now, if we're going base purely off of the lore that was created in the previous episode, these things are devastating because they beat Vegeta, and these things completely overwhelmed our heroes until Goku finally had enough and just went SS1 and blew them all to Kingdom Kong. So if we're going to align with where the last episode picks up, these guys should be a threat, right? And Vegeta does not care, because personally I think this is how Vegeta should have looked at all the jabronis that were shooting these type of beams. And so Vegeta just dodges easily as it goes right past his ear, and he's like, oh, and then he smiles like, okay, kid got something, and then he ends up having a tracking on it where it comes right back to Vegeta, starts coming in really quickly. Vegeta once again leaving his back, giving his back up to this guy's attack, not showing any respect at all, and the guy thinks he's gonna get it, he thinks he's got him, and then boom, you see the speed lines right there. Vegeta teleports right in front of him, he's like, oh, and then Vegeta basically face to face, and then teleports out of the way, and boom! Hits that guy. Well, I mean, he lets that guy get hit with his own blast, and they're like, you brat! And this guy just starts, I think he jumps up in the air, and he starts a little, and boom, boom, boom. Once again, in the last previous episodes, as we saw, these were giving Vegeta and Goku all types of things. They had to go 18 minutes, even in base form, and the guy thinks he's got Vegeta, and no, he does not. Vegeta is nowhere to be found. He's like, you know, he's like, once again, if you're a wrestling fan, you remember Shane McMahon, often when he fought the Big Show, he would do the whole promo, which way did he go? Which way did he go? Which way did he go? And that's basically what he's like, which way did he go? Where'd he at? And Vegeta teleports right behind him, and then goes in for the close-up, boom! Face, man, I don't even think this guy's gonna have a nose after this, and I don't know, did he have a nose? Boom, right in the just center of the face, oh man, and that guy right there is gone, knocked out, KO. And it's not even enough to just land on your back. In wrestling, I think they call this selling, overselling or whatever, to really make the impact move. So if this guy was selling, boom, he starts jumping up, and then goes ahead and lands on the back, and then boom, look at that. There is no other way to say you are defeated than that. Legs can't even be out straight, leg all bent in under the other leg. That guy is gone. And look at Vegeta, they do a zoom out right here, and then the other guy gonna try to go up and try to stop something up to Vegeta. So he's got his dagger, he's like, okay, all right, I'm gonna take my knife. If our guns don't work, then a knife will weed. What's that saying that once again, great WWE Hall of Fame legend, rest in peace, Roddy Piper said, he says, you do not bring a knife to a machine. Yeah, you do not bring a knife to a fight when the opponent is carrying a machine gun, something like that. So yeah, this guy's logic is, okay, if our machine guns aren't gonna work, then I'll just tuck out a knife and take them out, because that seems like the most logical thing to do. All right, so the guy does some fancy work with his knife, and he's ready to go in for the kill, and then he actually takes out a gun. So he's making sure he's got extra backup. He's got a gun and he's got a knife, gonna stab and shoot Vegeta up. And I mean, he's got a pretty cool pose there. You think he's on to something, and he points the gun right over to Vegeta, and Vegeta right here my man Vegeta just basically doing his best Kane impression when he would always take the glove and all that stuff like that. So he basically adjusts his gun, his glove, and then right there he points his hand right at this Zandamari guy, and then forms a little quick key blast, and boom, right in the gut, spam, explosion, sends that guy right out of the frame, and that's all she wrote. It is all over, just like that. And the way they did this was super fast. Easily you can see it nicely here when I've got it paused frame by frame, but man, that was so quick. I was cracking up when I was watching this, man. And so basically right here you got this Zandamari guy. He is completely scared because I think there's only 2 of them left right now. The guys are, oh, they're sweating, and look at that. I mean, look at the damage. As Jim Ross would say in WWE, look at the carnage. My God, bodies everywhere. And so we got these 2 guys, and Vegeta's like, he's like, what else? What else you guys want? Come on. You know, Vegeta just not playing with these guys, and they're like blasted. And so the big guy here, he ends up saying, you know, maybe they are the ones that defeated Majin Buu and the Tamagamis, which see, this goes back to what I was saying when these guys were first introduced, is how are we supposed to take them serious as a threat? Because if they're sweating bullets over Majin Buu and Tamagamis being defeated, then that already puts them right down really low on the totem pole, basically. Like, how are you going to take them serious? And I guess Toriyama introduced them not to be taken serious, but as much as these guys are a tribute to the Ginyu Force, they're also the opposite of what the Ginyu Force was. If you go back to Dragon Ball Z in the Frieza saga, when the Ginyu Force are introduced, it's a big freaking deal, because we knew the Doria and Zarbon were the top of the top. They were the 2 right-hand guys, or right or left guys, or whatever, of Frieza, aka Frieza. And it's from there, you know, Vegeta even struggled to beat Zarbon, but when the Ginyu Force are introduced, Vegeta starts sweating bullets, and he's like, alright, crap. He says, fine, go on, Krillin, we need to fight, we need to team up together. And so it's established right in the story that these Ginyu Force guys are serious business. The fact that Vegeta is sweating bullets and he wants to rather team up with his enemies than to have to fight these guys 1-on-5 or even 1-on-1 at all. So that was made very clear. And when these guys were introduced in story about fearing that these guys are that we got to go against the people that fight Majin Buu and Tamagamis, of course it wouldn't make sense, because then why would he not just send these guys after the Tamagamis? So it just, once again, to the incompetence. Like I said, Goma's got to be one of the stupidest villains. He's designed to be that way, but just stupid bringing in these guys, and they're great comedy relief, but yeah, you know, what I will say is good, though, 3 of them are out, 2 left to go. At least they're not taking up the entire episode with this like they did the jabronis in the previous episode. All right, let me take a break of water here. All right, and so he says, the captain here, he goes like, it looks like it's finally my turn, and he starts doing his best Trunks impression as he goes ahead and takes whatever this pole or whatever thing he is. He's gonna try to whack Vegeta upside the head, and Vegeta once again giving him no respect, basically letting his guard fully down. I mean, obviously Vegeta's on guard, but he just doesn't have to do much to prepare. And this guy easily finds out. Vegeta teleports, and that thing comes crashing down, and boom, does a real big number on the ground. And that's all it's going to be doing, is a number on the ground, not the Saiyajin Prince, Vegeta. And so Vegeta teleports into the sky, and then he's looking down at this guy while this guy is still holding the pole. So dude is too slow right here, and he flies right off to go to Vegeta. And then boom, Vegeta blocks his stuff. And then right there, he's like, okay. And then he boom tries to whack Vegeta on the side of the face, and Vegeta blocks his stuff. And then Vegeta's dodging, boom, bomb, blocking that, and then boom, kicking that out the way. Like Vegeta just no respect at all, just stopping, boom, with his hand, just so that this guy can understand the power difference here. And Vegeta goes in, looks like he's about to hit with the kill, going in with the big giant punch, and no, he fades the punch, and boom, gives that guy, they call that in pro wrestling the big boot, gives him the big boot to the face, saying, eat all of my dirt I've been stepping in this demon world. This is your demon world dirt, you eat that. And then this guy is like, oh, what's so funny too is this guy already has like warrior paint on his face, basically, and so it looks like that's just the imprint of Vegeta's boot, but it's not. So this guy is getting dealt with. He's the captain, goes all the way down to the ground, boom, and you're thinking this guy's done, and he gets right up, and what's he do? He counters like, you're the captain, he's scared, from Vegeta, and he gets up and look at that boy is standing up, he all stiff like, shaking, scared, and fear, and then he goes like, in that case, he said, it's time to use that attack, and so out of nowhere, these guys recover. I couldn't have been the only one to notice, like, these guys were just not, in this frame, these guys were knocked out, and the next frame, they're like, yeah, use that attack, like, okay, that's some quick recovery right there, and stuff like that. So the guy's flexing, the captain's flexing, and he's about to unleash his attack, and I'll be honest, this is a pretty cool looking attack. Reminds me of the supernova that Kula used when he fought Son Goku back in movie, what was that, movie 5? I think he even used it in movie 6 as well, so that was pretty cool. And so then he starts forming this really cool, and the visual effects were really good here, and like, hey, this is like, it's going to be a really cool attack on Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, though after seeing these guys, I don't know if we really need to waste time putting these guys into Sparking Zero. There's so many other characters. Like, I mean, once you've got all the main characters as downloadable content, then you can start just adding, I think, the characters that nobody really is going to care about. It's a cool technique, but they'll probably put them in here because we got that Dragon Ball DAIMA, the Dragon Ball DAIMA DLC pack coming out for there. So he starts unleashing this cool, really fire looking blast and everything, and it goes right to Vegeta, and right there, it's about to blow up, and boom, Vegeta is completely engulfed into an inferno. So this is the most powerful attack of the Zandamari guy. So going back to that previous episode, all those weak stuff did a number on base form Vegeta. But here, these fire stuff, and granted, I guess Vegeta got a Zenkai boost, right? Because that's what happens with the Saiyajins. They get Zenkai boost after near fatal injuries. So Vegeta's basically just in this flame, and it does nothing. Really reminds me, if you go back to Dragon Ball Z, there's a really cool scene and where him and Trunks, Vegeta and Trunks are training in the Room of Spirit and Time, aka the Hyperbolic Time Chamber, and there's this awesome visual of Vegeta like breathing the fire out of his mouth, his nose, his eyes, his ears, and then he just unleashes, and the fire just engulfs, comes out of all his eyes, nose, mouth, and ears. Just really cool visual. That's kind of what this reminded me of. And so Vegeta looks and it's like, oh, okay, maybe Vegeta got a little bit of respect here because he didn't expect that, and he's like, there's an even bigger one coming, and so he starts forming this big giant blast, and it's like, okay, the captain's pulling out all the stops now, and he even got a little respect on Vegeta. Vegeta's like, oh, and everything. So it's about to come, and it's about to get ready for Vegeta, and so this guy right here, he goes like, take this, and he basically, and I didn't understand it the first time, but I was now being able to get it frame by frame here. So what happens is this guy right here takes his machine gun and he lifts it up and hits his captain right there on the hand in the middle of him charging his ultimate attack. And as a result, this causes him to lose grip of his attack, his machine gun, as it goes down, and the the big giant fire ball here ends up going off prematurely and blows up halfway long before it can even arrive to Vegeta. And so here, he's like, oh, and I don't know if he's like, oh, and what happened, or if he's like, oh, well, I guess that's what it is. He's like, oh, my attack, and he's like, ah, my hand, and that thing is pulsing, and it's pink, and that's because the whole incompetence from his from his guy. He's like, oh, like he knew he effed up here at this point, and all that stuff, and Vegeta is like, ridiculous. And he's like, ow, 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 ow. So he's doing the dancing, you know, all that stuff. And then it actually fades to black here. And when it comes back, the top 5 special forces of the Zandamari guys have been captured, and it looks like the rest of the gang decided to come back, or they took these guys over there. They've been captured, and there they are. Hilarious, funny, yes, but once again, it just goes to one of the biggest complaints about episode 15 was that Goku and the gang took way too long. Absolutely way too long to go ahead and defeat these guys, and this just kind of justifies it more. Like, these were the top 5 dudes of the Gendarmerie. This was the best that the Gendarmerie, the Gomah Special Forces, had to offer, and Vegeta in base form beat these guys. I mean, he couldn't even beat these guys. These guys are so incompetent, but obviously with base form, he was able to just run roughshod over these guys, and yet all the jabronis in the episodes, because were they trying to say that because if all the jabronis in numbers were able to overwhelm these guys, but when you get the 5 top guys, it's a lot easier to man. Like, it just doesn't make sense. It just, like, there was no reason at all, especially when Goku just had to go SS1 and blast all these guys. And I know people are gonna say, oh, they were conserving energy and all that stuff, but it's like that never stopped Goku earlier. I mean, he went SS1 at one point just to break these guys off of him when he was testing himself out against King Caden's henchmen, and then he went right back to normal. So I don't see why. Not like Goku was even in that form that long. So once again, this just further justifies that last episode did not need to take nearly as long when they were able to go through the top 5 guys easily. So it is what it is, but I'm glad that this didn't take up the entire episode. And what's really cool is these guys do have loyalty. They're asking Captain, are you okay? They're not disposable. And he tells the guy that, hey, it's a stinker, it's a bit. And the guy's like, oh, he's like, I appreciate that. So I mean, good to see their loyalty. Like I said, I don't get the sense that these guys were bad guys, especially with how they offer chocolate over to Majin Kuindu in previous episodes. So yeah, it is what it is. And he's got his he says, I'll forgive you this time and stuff. He goes like that, and Piccolo's like, let's go, let's get the heck out of here. I think the audience at this point is like, yeah, let's go, let's move on, because we only got what, 4 or 5 episodes at this point left. We need to get this plot moving along. And so Vegeta, he starts walking up and he just blasts the door down in typical Vegeta fashion, and there you go. Hey, for those of you who are fans of the Dragon Ball dub, because this is what Vegeta wanted to do, I think this is what Vegeta wanted, or did he actually do that when it was Dr. Garo, aka Dr. Gero, after releasing 17 and 18? Imagine Trunks, Eric Vale's English voice actor going like, if Gomah gets free, it'll be the end of all of us! No! You know, that'd be hilarious, and stuff like that. Kind of remind me of that. But anyway, they walk into the palace. Meanwhile, Son Goku, like I said, these guys are bad guys. He's looking at the potato chip, and Goku's like, and he's like, here you go. He said they're the best in the demon realm. And so Goku's like, thanks. And so there you go. Goku's got himself some new snacks. And we arrive into the palace where Gomah has this really goofy looking statue of him. So we're finally going further. I know Dragon Ball DAIMA is like RPG, so it's like you enter the big castle and all that stuff. And Goku's like, oh, what's that statue? And this is where Glorio reveals that this is Gomah. And once again, it's a very, I love the shading and effect to make it like a golden statue and all that stuff and everything. So that was pretty cool. All right, let me take a little sip break here. Water. All right, so we have the remaining jabronis of the Gendarmerie guys who are running, talking about the Ginyu Force. The Gendarmerie Force was defeated, and in the background we see the girl, and she's like, I'm supposed to bring this item to Degesu, so any doubt can be removed. If we thought, like I said, initially I thought that maybe Degesu was doing his inner oolong in pour and was basically going ahead to disguise himself as this woman, but that's not the case. What's really funny too about here, I saw people on X / Twitter saying that this is basically the great value version, they were calling her, of Towa, which she definitely looks like Towa from the Dragon Ball Xenoverse games and those card games I think they had in Japan. So Dragon Ball Superheroes, I think it was like that. And so she's like, like, if it's not too much of a hassle, she's like, where does she bring this thing? And she looks it up, and there's the eye, which moves, and she is completely freaked out about this and just starts running off, and says, she needs to just get her money and go home. And so from out here, as they get closer within it, they start believing that they would stand out too much, and so that they should all split up. So doing the old Scooby-Doo thing where they go like, come on gang, let's split up. And so Goku's like, all right, we can go ahead and save Dende while he's smacking on some chips. And so they go into this room here, and once again, like I said, these backgrounds are looking awesome. And so the remaining gang is all just waving goodbye and everything. And I was like, I understand they want to split up and they think they might stand out too much. I mean, I guess, if Gomah ends up coming to them first before them, how do you know? But I guess it doesn't matter. Son Goku can use instantaneous movement to sense their ki and all that. So it is what it is. And so for whatever reason, I didn't understand, his Panzy is looking, oh, and as everyone's walking back, Panzy, she takes one look back. And Glorio, he's taking one look back over there, and Panzy starts flying at him. And I don't know why she just didn't go with him in the first place. So I didn't understand this part. They made it look like she saw something suspicious. And so Panzy runs in there. And there we go. We get looking out the window. It's Degesu. And I guess he just saw them enter the tower, and he's getting really concerned at this point. And so he starts going through this really cool looking area that's going to take him to another part of the palace. Really love the greens here and the water. And then basically Son Goku and Piccolo and them all, they end up going through the area too. Goku's just like, just macking on these potato chips, and Vegeta's like, would you stop eating and just focus for once? And so Goku's like, all right. So he just chucks all those potato chips down, and he's like, and he's like, all right, let's go. Son Goku, like I said, he has not shown one ounce of super concern for his friend Dende's well-being here. And so Goku starts focusing now, and he's like, yeah, I can sense Dende's ki. And so they run towards the same area where it looks like Degesu just ran towards, and now Pansy's entered that area. So they run across the bridge here, and then not too far behind is Panzy. And so they get into this area. Once again, this is just looking really cool. Toriyama Akira, he was always a great master of just creating spaceships and machines and all that stuff. And hey, I'm glad that we've gone through these episodes over the last several weeks where we have not had to deal with a spaceship breaking down and everything. So that's been really cool. And so it looks like from here, Degesu is going to try and board one of these ships. And right as he's about to get to there, boom, Goku comes in. Hey! And now he's showing serious. Now, after some 16 episodes in, Son Goku, or 15 episodes in since they found out, some 15 episodes later, Son Goku is finally showing the urgency you would expect to have for one's friend who's been kidnapped and been reduced to a helpless state. So this is getting really interesting from here. So we get these back lighting shots of Degesu. He's looking very menacing here, and Goku, he is like, all right, hand over Dende, it's over. And now you can see Goku is angry. Nahare, Piccolo, Vegeta, they are all business. And so Degesu, he's like, oh, I'm impressed you made it this far and everything and stuff like that. Once they beat the Tamagami and Majin Buu and Tamagami, I don't know how impressed or surprised he should be here. It should have been expected. But Degesu, he starts smiling. He puts this gun or space blast or whatever this thing is up to Dende's head while he's asleep. And from here, Goku's like, what's your deal? And Piccolo, he's starting to get angry. And here, basically, his brother, Nada, aka the Supreme Kai, aka the East Kaioshin, he tries to tell him to stop this foolishness. And it's right here that Degesu, he is basically going like, well, it's been a long time, older brother. And he's like, I think a millennium, in fact. So it gets really interesting here. Millennium, because well, that's about like 1 million years old. Like, I'm not sure where all this is, because if I'm I think I read, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, if you're watching this here in the chat, or if you are live in the chat, or you're watching this in the on demand. But if I remember right, the Elder Kai, Supreme Kai, the East Kaioshin, the Elder Kaioshin, or is he called like Rondaya Kaioshin, something like that? The Elder Kai, Kaioshin, Supreme Kai. He's like 75 million years old, and I think we know Majin Buu was like over 5 million years old, or close to 5 million years old, meaning that the East Kaioshin being on the younger side, he's also around that 5 million year old mark as well. And so it's been just about a millennium since they seen each other. So I think it all lines up here with the timeline. But once again, I don't know. It's been a while. But that being said, we end up getting where they basically said, I get it, you say you're the Supreme Kai's little brother and stuff, basically. Yeah, he's like the Supreme Kai's little brother, and so this is where he, even though he's a taller one, I think even when nahare was at that the smaller size. But there's a scene that comes from Dr. Arinsu later on in this chapter that mentions that he's typically smaller, so I guess it is what it is. So now he's like, don't get any closer. And I guess this makes sense because Degesu probably could pull this trigger back, killing Dende quicker than they can get to there, so that makes sense. Degesu, basically, they're asking what he's trying to do, and he's like, it's obvious. And what he wants, he said he wants to be the king of the demon realm. And I don't know here if he was just saying this as a way to try and buy time, or if it means that he was looking to overthrow Gomah all this time. So you got Panzy, who's basically sitting back there, and from here, I guess he mentions that you being a Glen, what do you want to be the king of the demon realm for? And it's from here that he's like, you're always overly ambitious and all that stuff. And he said it's obvious by your lack of thought into the actions that you need to stop acting like you know everything and stuff, is basically what he's saying here. And he's like, the Glen's nature is always to be in higher positions. And so he's basically saying that he wants to as what has your so very thoughtful self been doing in the outside world, because I guess he mentions he knows that he's like the kaioshin, which puts him at a high authority over the outside world. And this is where Goku goes like, yeah, what do you do, nahare? And nahare responds that he oversees peace and order in the universe, which I thought was already known when they found out back in the Buu saga that he was the Supreme Kai. Like, didn't Goku already know that the Kai, like when he met like the North Kaio, aka King Kai, his job was to look over his side of the universe, the west. Well, yeah, because they're on the what was it, the north? Yeah, North Kaio. Something. I think he's the north side of the galaxy, and I thought he knew that all the Kais were above that, and so he looks over everything in the universe. So I'm not sure why this is put in there. I thought Son Goku knew this, unless I may have missed something in Dragon Ball Z when this was stated. So meanwhile, the ship goes ahead and opens up here, and Degesu, he's gonna try and get in here, and this is where they start bracing themselves, and they're telling them to stop, and Degesu, he's just smiling deviously. He gets it right up on Dende's cheek. He's about to go ahead and pull the trigger on this thing, and our heroes are like, oh, what do we do? And I love this shot of Degesu just looking absolutely devious here. And so we get a shot back where Gomah's like, what the heck is Degesu doing? And he's like, he must have some kind of plan, right? And he starts wondering, or was he going to abandon him the whole time? And from here, Panzy, she's still looking on, and it looks like Dende's about to get blasted right in the head. And Degesu, he turns, and then we see the feet of Panzy. She ends up just going ahead, jumping right off, running towards her with what looks to be a fly swatter or spatula, and it starts doing some electricity, and she basically comes right on in, and she swings that thing, and the electricity goes, and boom, no avail, as Panzy finds herself face first with the very gun that was about to blow Dende's head off. Is now threatening to blow her head off, and Degesu, he's basically just calling her, just a pesky little girl from the third demon realm, and it's not looking good right here. And he's like, now back away. And so that plan didn't go according to plan for for Panzy there. And then we get this really yellow thing, and honestly at the point, I don't know if I was the only one, because usually when they're portrayed here with the lighting of the demon realm, it comes off like this very lime green type of color. I'm thinking right here, holy crap, it's gonna be Majin Do. Majin Do has come here to save our heroes, and he doesn't know what's going on here. Degesu's like, what? And bam! That thing smacks him right in the face, and out goes and up goes flying Dende. And so right there you see Panzy. She's flying. I love how brave Panzy is. It's gonna be like, man, shame this is gonna be the it for Panzy. Hopefully Toriyama left notes behind, or Toyotaro will bring her back in episodes later on as far as how they move forward with Dragon Ball Super. And so she launches and catches Dende and slides on the ground, and safe. There she is. I don't know, I know sports. I don't even watch sports, so I don't know if that's what they would call that, but yeah, she's like, gotcha. And so right here, and this is the best example, if you go back to episode 1, what was it that Degesu did in order to take out, was it I think it was Dende or Popo? Piccolo comes in with a chop, boom, right to Degesu's face. And look at Degesu's face, his legs, they're doing the wobbly leg, and he's like, oh, loses his balance, and boom, face first plant right on the ground, and it is all over like that. Degesu is defeated. Now, I need to really let you guys know, man, I had high hopes for Degesu. I wanted to hear too in the comment section, or even anyone in the chat too, when I go ahead and read the chat messages toward the end of the stream. Did anyone have high hopes for Degesu? Because to me, when we look at the antagonists that were introduced in this series, Dr. Arinsu and Degesu, I thought they were the two coolest designs. And I'm thinking, okay, Degesu's going to really be something really special here. But this frame should make all doubts go away. Degesu just turned out to be a scrub, a chump. Because if we go back a year prior, in what I believe was the 25th Tenkaichi Budokai, aka World Martial Arts Tournament, if I remember correctly, it is Nahare, aka the East Kaioshin, aka the Supreme Kai, which we didn't know any of that at that point. He's just standing there, basically with a devious smile, and that's enough to make Piccolo go, oh, he doesn't even lift a finger. That's right, the East Kaioshin doesn't even lift a finger, and Piccolo goes like, oh, I give up. And he basically walks away because he realizes, I'm going against the Supreme Kai. He didn't want none. Just like AJ Styles, who came back at the Royal Rumble previously with his theme song says, they don't want none. They don't want none, right? Piccolo did not want any of the East Kaioshin. So when it comes to the East Kaioshin's brother here, Piccolo said, no, screw that. Bam! Chop, and it's over. Didn't even take his cape and turban apron off. There was no hesitation at all. So that shows you just how weak in the power spectrum Degesu was. Man. Wow, and here I was thinking Degesu was gonna, like I say, pull a Commander Black and overthrow Gomah and become the true big bad threatening evil of this series the way they were going at it. But no, he was just a really cool design. They looked like he was gonna do something really cool. And Toriyama, as he's known for, he likes to go against people's expectations. He creates a really cool looking character, and that cool looking character is treated like a jump. And then he creates a really goofy looking character like Gomah, and as we're going to see towards the end of this episode, that is the real big threat, the real big bad. So yeah, unfortunate. Really cool character design, but I think at the end of the day, that's all I'm gonna really be able to say about Degesu. Really cool character design. He looked like a taller, more devious version of his brother Nahare, aka the Supreme Kai. And so there you go, Degesu is out, and it's apparent that this is not Majin Do, it's a hat. And Goku's like, nice going, Panzy, and even Vegeta smiling. So I love it to hear Vegeta smile. Usually, he'd be like, not a big deal, but yeah, here he's smiling. So that shows you the the definite, especially Vegeta, who's the one who was trying to get serious here about saving Dende. So once again, love the character development we're seeing from Vegeta compared to what he was when he was punching Dende in the stomach because he wouldn't heal him. And so there you have this really cool shot that really reminded me of when Son Goku put Frieza down, you know, doing the iconic "You're full" blast and all that stuff. So that was pretty cool. And so there we go. He's just looking down sad at his brother, wishing that his brother could have, you know, obviously done something much better with his life, but this is where it's got him. And so Goku's like, what is this? And they look back and it's Glorio, who was the one that chucked that thing. And there it is. He's like, my head is cold. It's Hibis. So that hat came in handy after all. And so Pansy's like, you saved us. And she thinks Dende is the most adorable thing and stuff like that. and all that stuff. But they're glad to have Dende back, and it's really cool. Yeah, he's eerily cute and stuff. And so we go back to where Gomah is, and in a scene that reminds me very much of that filler. Let me get a water break here. So in a scene that reminds me of the filler episode where I believe it was Majin, yeah, it's when Kid Boo's fighting Goku and they have all the villains in hell. Boo, Babidi, he's like, that serves you right, Majin Buu, for exactly what you did to me. And he's like, you, it's Goku, defeat the Buu. Something like that. That's kind of what this reminded me of. Gomah is like, serves you right, Degesu, you know, for turning on him and betraying him or trying to have his own ambitions that went against Gomah, and then he gets really scared because he's really like, oh, with Degesu out of the way, there's no one left who could protect me. And so he's like, what should I do? He starts flying around. And so then you have the girl that looks like Toa says, excuse me. And this just freaks Gomah out. Ah! And he's like, I brought you the belt. And this is where, oh, okay. So he's not freaked out. Because he realizes that, holy crap. He said the belt. He said it's the third eye. And, he's just super happy, and she's like, yeah, so how about those getting paid for those services? And she's like, she even lost the hat that her ex gave to her, so that she's wearing a hat that her ex gave to her and everything. So they wanted us to know that. And then he's like, here, take whatever you want from the other room. And so you got Gomah looking devious. He's like, there is no mistake of it now. He said it really is the third eye. And we see the outside realm here, and Degesu just looking all pathetic. They got the best of him. He is trapped now, and they're gonna just basically keep him. I mean, even the weaker guys, the subordinates of King Kaden, who I gotta imagine is weaker than the rest of the cast, they're able to keep this guy at bay. So I mean, wow, just wow, man. Degesu, so much hope and everything, but amounted to absolutely nothing here in Dragon Ball DAIMA. And so from here, Dende is rescued, and they said all that's left now is to turn us back into adults, which I was hoping, I'm like, let's get the Dragon Ball, because I would rather see this final battle where they're cool, because I want to see SS3 Goku and particularly Vegeta as adults, as we're not, this is going to be our really only chance to really see Vegeta at SS3, because I just don't think there is any plan. I don't know if they're going to bring it back at all, as he has no reason to go SS3 anymore in the upcoming material Dragon Ball Super, nor did he do it at all throughout Super. And so, that's where I think Piccolo asks, what about Gomah? And, Goku's like, should we take care of him first? And then Glorio here is basically saying how, no, Gomah can't be underestimated, which is something I got to say coming up about this whole third eye, because Glorio really hyped up Gomah. Gomah's been hyped up as if even without the third eye, this guy is a force to be reckoned with. But there's been nothing of Gomah, basically how afraid he is that these guys were able to overcome as much as they have with Majin Buu and the Tamagami. And so he mentions fighting the Tamagami and becoming adults will first be better. And of course he's secretly working for Dr. Arinsu, so he wants those Dragon Balls, right? And then we basically hear that the first Demon World Tamagami is over right there in the square, so they head right over to the place, and this is really cool because this is where the tension really starts building up, because it's like, oh snap, what are they gonna do when they find out there's someone even stronger than Tamagami 1? And so there they do this cool shot where everyone's looking at Tamagami 1, and Goku's like, wow, he looks even stronger. So keyword there, looks even stronger. I guess he doesn't confirm that he is stronger, but I think what was told to us was that Tamagami 1 is the strongest. So that's where we end up going with that. And so from here, Vegeta ends up saying that, I'll let you have the last one. Yeah, Goku, they end up fighting over who's gonna have the last shot against Tamagami 1. And this is where Degesu, this is where Panzy, she realizes something's not right here. And it's the Dragon Ball is missing. Dun dun dun, and they're like, oh, like I said, this is where the tension's building, and they're like, wait a minute, then if he doesn't have the Dragon Ball, and even Neva's shocked, then who in the heck beat it? Even Glorio's like, someone beat Tamagami 1? And because I don't think he knows about the other Majin, the new Majin Boos that was introduced by Dr. Arinsu. And this is where Tamagami 1 says that the Dragon Ball has gone to the victor. And Vegeta's like, what? And boom, we end up getting a hard smack of the ground as we see a heel hit, and it can be only one person. And Goku looks like, what? And they do this panning shot, but before they do the panning shot, they want us to get a huge big shot of Arinsu's boobs. So the camera starts slowly panning up, and then it finally goes to her face, because that's exactly what the animators always want to do. They always have to pick these specific shots and stuff. Of course, if you've seen Dragon Ball Superhero and how they did Bulma's booty in that, or other scenes just in Dragon Ball, even like Piccolo kicking Junagano AK-17 in the face, and the camera only cuts 117's butt has completely taken up the camera. This is the type of stuff that they do. And so Dr. Arinsu basically is looking very devious over there. And this is where these kaioshin says that's my sister. And we see that Majin Du has woken up, and Majin Ku, barely up, and Dr. Arinsu just looking all super confident. And this is where even Bulma, aka Bulma, recognizes, hey, those are like Majin Buu. And from here, this is where Dr. Arinsu says, unfortunately, the first Demon Realm Dragon Ball is already ours. And I love this scene because this is where you can really, for the first time in a while, if not, this level of attention in Dragon Ball DAIMA, you could cut it with a knife, because it's like, oh snap, Vegeta, Goku, and Piccolo, they're uneased. They're on guard, as they should be, because they're told Tamagami 1 is supposed to be the strongest, yet Dr. Arinsu and her Majin Buu companions here defeated him. And Glorio was very interesting, because we know secretly Glorio's working for Dr. Arinsu, but he's got sweat, like as if he doesn't know exactly what's going on here either. And Dr. Arinsu is just looking all confident. I mean, why wouldn't she? Tamagami 1, the strongest Tamagami, has been defeated, and she has the warriors under her control. And there you see Majin Ku looking devious. And I know some people might be thinking, well, what he gonna do? Just because he was wrecked by Tamagami 1, we still don't know the power scaling. We still don't know where Majin Ku ranks. He could potentially still be stronger than Goku and Vegeta, could be SS3 level and all that stuff, just because Tamagami 1 was defeated. We don't know that. He could be very strong in that, so we don't know his range, but we know for certainly, and that's a great close-up shot of the Dragon Ball. And once again, these tight close-up shots of Glorio, not recognizing what's going on here. I think this is cool, but we don't know Majin Du, how strong the power spectrum they really are. And this fool Gomah, he's taking a spoon, he's trying to get this eyeball out, really hustling to get this eyeball out, and he's like, this doesn't work either. And so he's tried all these different different machines and all that stuff and everything, and he's trying to do the back breaker on there with his knee. It's not working, and he's already gassed out, so it's just gas out trying to get these things. It's like you're gonna need a lot more stamina in order to go up against Goku and Vegeta. And so he starts doing his best Randy Orton impression, stupid from 2009, and throws that thing, and he takes out a plunger. Bro takes out a plunger and he's trying to get it out, and he actually does with all his force, sends him back. The eye is floating in the ball in the sky now, in the air, and Gomah's happy because he finally got it out. And here, man, she took as much as she could probably go ahead and sell that stuff on. I don't know what the eBay equivalence is in the demon realm, and that's where Gomah says, "Hey, you there?" And she's like, "Hey, you said I could take whatever I want." And he's like, "No." He says, "I need you to put this eye on my forehead." And basically the girl that looks like Toa here, she is freaked out, like, "No, I don't want to do that." And she's like, "That's totally gross." And he's like, "I am the Supreme Demon King. I am demanding you do this." And she's like, "I don't care who you are, I'm not touching that eyeball." And he goes like 50,000 dokuro, which is their currency there. And she goes like, "You know what? Making 100,000? Deal." And so he's like, "Fine, just do it, whatever." And she's like, "Gross." And she puts this on his forehead and it won't go. It just basically ends up popping right back out. So she uses all her force to basically put it in there, and it stays. And we start seeing veins come up around it, and there you go. Gomah is like, "Oh, I thought this thing was going to take control of his body and his will wasn't going to be his own or anything." But yeah, she's like, what's going on?" And Gomah's like, and we start seeing the transformation. Gomah starts getting gigantic. As you can see, she's like, "Oh, you gotta be kidding me." And right there, Gomah is like bulking up. Dude is just getting gains. He has reached those gains just by putting an eyeball on his forehead. He said, "For all y'all people that go out there to the gym working hard, you continue to work harder and not smarter. I'll throw an eyeball and I just basically get bulked." Okay. And so you can see just how gigantic he is. And right here, she says, "Screw the 100,000. She runs off and drops 2 of her jewels, but comes back to grab the other jewel, diamonds, that is. And then she runs out and says, "Screw it, 100k dokuro is not worth this." And I mean, I had to face a monster like that. 100k ain't worth it at all. Yeah, once your life is on the line, and I'm like, yeah, the money ain't even matter anymore. So we get a good big shot of him, and I mean, with the outfit, he clearly looks like a Pride Trooper from Dragon Ball Super. And we get a close-up looking of his eyes, and it looks like his facial structure didn't change that much. And he's got the eye here, and basically the episode ends with him having that eyeball. So he kind of comes off, and I've heard people say he looks like a reject version of Jiren. Yeah, so looks like we have our big bad finally is Gomah with the third eye. He's bulked, he's shredded. I was hoping the facial structure was going to change. I understand Toriyama wanted to make him a goofy looking character, but you have just so many iconic final design characters like Frieza, Cell, Majin Buu. They have really cool final looking designs and stuff like that. And Gomah doesn't really look. He still has that same face, just with a bulkier physique, and that's where we end up going. So that's where episode 16 concludes. Overall, I thought episode 16 was fun. It definitely moved the plot along. I'm glad they didn't take too much time on the special forces of the Gendarmerie guys. I'm glad that things definitely ended up looking better. They got Dende out of her. That was cool. Like I said, I found Degesu to be quite disappointing. I was hoping more out of there, but the tension of the episode really, I thought, picked up with Dr. Arinsu, because now it's like, yeah, what's gonna happen? Now we got some people that are really gonna take Goku and Vegeta to the limit, and now you got Gomah. He ends up getting a third eye, so it looks like Gomah ended up being the big bad villain. I think this whole episode he was not gonna be the big bad villain the whole time. And I will say, when I saw this scene, I was like, The thing about Gomah, he is such a dumb villain. Like, just his strategies, and I'm not even sure how good of a fighter he is, which we'll see later on in this upcoming episode I'm about to review. But, yeah, I'm like, he might have the power, but strategically, I feel like he's such a dumb villain that's gotta play a role into him as a final villain. Like, he just is not that smart at all. And so, like, having the power, we see what happened. Nappa was very powerful, but very dumb when he was faced against a much more superior and stronger fighter in Son Goku. So that is where we are.